Hi, this is Natasha Thompson reporting live from SAP TechEd, and I'm here with Sina Moatamedf, who's an independent consultant and SAP Mentor. And I found out that he is very knowledgeable in social media. I learned a lot from him, and he was so kind to offer to speak a little bit about social search.
Great. So I'll share a little bit of background on what we tried to do at a former company where I was a CIO. But we really engaged our company in first with our online presence, with our site, and really building it from ground up, siloing the website for searchability. And that's really great because you're structuring your site based on what's key to your company, what your products and service offerings are, and try to direct the search that way. But what's happening now in the market is that search is also engaged with the social communities. So if you have somebody that is related to you that has a connection to a company around a topic that you're interested in, when you do your search returns, it's going to look to see who you're socially connected with and actually pull that content up in your list first. And so this means that every company, whether they want to or not, really has to start engaging in the social media space and do it effectively. And one of the key things is if you're going to engage in, say, Facebook and put up a company page, make sure you're not just billboarding yourself as a company and really engage in the true social nature of what it is. So talk about your industry and try to grow a base around things that are entertaining and topical in your industry and not so specific about yourself. And you'll start grabbing a much larger audience. And that larger audience will have all the connections now to a larger group of people who will have a social search return that comes back and ranks your company higher in search. So it's a very interesting change in the market in terms of how people will find you and the relevance of your content. But you have to engage in the social space. So start typing away and get social.
Yeah, I feel like social search is really not taken in consideration enough, so this is good advice. Also, you mentioned to me that you've thought a lot about engagement, and I think even at SAP it's one of the hot topics.
Sure.
Don't amplify, engage. Can you give a good example?
Sure. So one of the things too is that when you're engaging, depending on what your product and service is, and whether you're strictly localized or whether you have a global reach in terms of your product offerings, is that very often people want to engage in a very local perspective. So one of the great tools that are out there as well is structuring both your website and also your social space for something that's geo-targeted. So what that means is that if somebody in Germany, say, wants to find something out about your products and services, that they get a Facebook presence that is geo-targeted for the audience within Germany because it'll have a context relevant to their local market. Whereas if you're in America, maybe there's going to be a different type of dialogue. And so what you're creating is geo-targeted presence of content. This isn't too different than normal streams of marketing that you may engage in because that's going to be targeted based on your audiences. But actually social media has the facility of delivering content relevant to where you live. And so that becomes really important because now you're going to draw in an audience where it's not generically speaking from a certain country's perspective, but something that you'll relate to and you'll want to become socially engaged in. And so that's the importance of the geo-targeted content.
So, totally honest here for our audience, is this something that requires a lot of effort and investment, or is this something that like a smaller business could do too?
It's absolutely something a smaller business can do. In fact, they have to because their marketing reach isn't in TV and magazine ads to the proliferation of somebody who's really big can do, right? But if you're a smaller company, this is the most effective way of getting your message out in the most cost-effective manner, but it requires focus. So either you will contract with a company that is very focused in the space of social media and site building for siloing your site, or you build it in-house. And so what we did in our last company is we built that infrastructure internally. So it was really somebody focused around social media and SEO targeting our site, and then the other was a copywriter to really build the library of content in order to reach out to everybody. Now, if you're going to go geo-targeted, you're going to need to work with hopefully either people within your company, but if you're not that big, then look at key customers or distributors of your products and services in different countries to help engage in a social conversation on behalf of your company. So,
Sina, you certainly opened my eyes here. I had not thought about that at all.
Oh,
and
great.
thank you so much. I'm really glad I met you here at TechEd, and I hope we'll get to talk a lot more about social media.
Sure, of course.
Thank you so much.
You bet.